My name's Trevor. I'm a caregiver for my mom, Faye, and she has dementia. Since my dad died, I've been taking care of mom's finances. It's been stressful because I haven't got the education and stuff and the know-how how to do it. I was up against horrible times living on the north side of Edmonton in the inner city. Until I was about 40 years old, I had a psychological assessment that said I should have been getting assistance since birth. My mom would ask me, what are you gonna do if something happens to me and your dad? So I've kind of prepared for this. But I didn't realize that I would have to take care of my mom like I did.
My name is Cassie. I'm a caregivers coach with Caregivers Alberta. For caregivers to be able to take care of their care recipients' financial and legal affairs, I think there's two main important steps that need to happen. Caregiver and care recipients have to have a conversation around finances and choices going forward in their future. And they also have to ensure that they have legal documents in place so that if there is a change in capacity, there are legal documents in place that allows the caregiver to make those decisions.
The most important documents a caregiver needs to know about, I would start firstly with the power of attorney and the personal directive. These are documents that can be brought into effect when a person lacks capacity to make personal and financial decisions. Power of attorney is essentially an umbrella term. It means any type of document that appoints a decision maker. So for a caregiver, an enduring power of attorney is really what they're going to be dealing with because they need something that's going to last forever. A personal directive is like a power of attorney, but instead of your finances, it deals with your personal decisions. And so for someone who's lost capacity, that can be something like their medical decisions or maybe where they live. And so this is a legal document that's drafted up while the person still has the ability to do it. When a power of attorney is not possible, and that's usually because the person making the document is too unwell or just doesn't have the capacity to give legal instructions anymore, then the family has to go get what's called a trusteeship order. And then that family member is considered the trustee, which is very much the same job as an attorney. It's just through a different process.
A caregiver will have to apply to the Alberta courts to become a trustee or guardian for a care recipient who does not have the capacity to make an enduring power of attorney or personal directive. Then if they were named their guardian, they would have the responsibility to look after their medical and legal responsibilities. Trevor is a good example of someone who had to go that next step in order to get legal documents in place as a trustee or guardian to be able to support a loved one, a care recipient, to make those financial and personal decisions.
Since my mom went into the nursing home, I decided to really try and get the trusteeship. And my friend Angie, that's been working with me since October, really helped me with everything because it was beyond me. All this stuff I couldn't do. Angie works for me. I bought her a computer and she worked off the time.
I am Angie, and I am here to support Trevor and his mother, Faye. My experience for getting Trevor trusteeship was a roller coaster. There are so many different guidelines that you have to go through to get it. You have to get criminal records, you got to get background checks, you got to get fingerprints, you got to get whatever you need to get done for court to get this trusteeship. And it was a roller coaster, a lot of stress. It's just thrown in your face, and it's like, what do I do? What's the next step? How do I do this?
It's just been me trying to take care of stuff for my mom. I couldn't get power of attorney because mom has dementia. And that's why I had to go for a trusteeship.
It doesn't take long to start this process. It really depends on where the adult is and how easy it is to get a physician to examine them. For instance, if you're talking about a loved one who's at home and you can simply bring them into their family physician, you'll have a declaration signed that day. If your loved one is in hospital and you need to arrange for an attending physician, as an example, or they're in a nursing home, that might take a little bit longer, but realistically, it's just a matter of arranging the visit.
So given how diverse caregiving experiences are, there are many different resources and supports available in the community to support caregivers with legal and financial documents. So at Caregivers Alberta, we can help have those conversations with caregivers around the legal and financial world of caregiving. That would start with a conversation with our intake coordinator, and they would have that opportunity to really get to know a bit more about the caregiver and where they're coming from and what supports would be helpful to them. If at that point they recommend or think that connecting with a caregiver coach would be a good step, the caregiver would start having conversations with a caregiver coach and start working through information around those documents, navigating the system of having supports in place to be able to start filling out those documents. One of our caregiver coaches, Lana, has professional background as a social worker, and she's actually been able to help Trevor navigate some of those forms and some of the challenges of the legal system.
It started out with the emotional support in the beginning because I was under so much stress and a complete emotional wreck. I learned to trust her every 2 weeks, a little bit at a time. My social worker helped me get through it.
I think the best way to avoid being overwhelmed is to farm out some of the work. People don't need to bring these documents into effect themselves. They don't need to draft them themselves. And so I think getting a professional to help you and to give you some advice can take the load off, certainly let you focus more on the things that are really important to you, which are going to be caring for your loved one, making sure you spend time with them.
Oh, nice, Angie. This is your game. It's hard to do it alone. You gotta know your options. You gotta ask around, or else you're just gonna lay stagnant and go nowhere. The most important thing is you can't get frustrated. So no matter how bad it gets or whatever the deal, you gotta keep your composure.
To help somebody through their financial stress, to have a friend, it just takes that ease off their shoulder. I found when I helped Trevor, when it came to financial situations, it felt like I took that stress off of him. I was able to help him with the finances. Having to do it their own is not an easy game. You gotta try to find the friends and the family that are willing to give you that time and effort.
As a caregiver, navigating the financial and legal systems can be stressful, and you can feel alone. It might seem overwhelming, but there are people out there who are knowledgeable and prepared to help.